All right, secret number 8. Use their 5 words. Use their 5 words. What am I talking about here? But before that, understand this. You finish your first week, you are on the second week. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. You are actually committed. You're sincere. You are like me, probably like fun loving, enjoying life, joyful. You want to move your business to the next level while staying joyful. I use a word called Ananda. I might have used that word in a previous video. Ananda represents extreme joy, extreme blissfulness. You want to be joyful all the time. Life is about joyfulness, right? No matter how much money you have, your face is frown and you don't have any joy in you. What are we doing here anyway, right? What's the purpose of doing business? The idea is for us to grow and expand our joy. That's the purpose of life too, I believe, right? So I hope you are joyful. If you're joyful, put that in the chat. I am joyful. At least I'm trying to be joyful. Something like that. I'm happy. I'm trying to be happy. Put that in the chat so I know that you are a joyful person or you want to be a joyful person. We'll talk about joy and how to claim your highest destiny. There is a lot of things to share in the future. We'll be doing a lot of videos on a lot of topics, especially in how to claim your highest destiny, which is one of our unique ideas that we are developing for the last 30 years that I'm getting to get out into the world. We'll share more about it. If you want to learn more about it, put that in the chat. I want to learn about how to claim my highest destiny. Yeah, put that in the chat right now instead of looking at me. No, I'm kidding. Just go ahead and put that in the chat. So this way we could move on to the next level, which is the psychology and neurology of why you should use their 5 words. Okay. So what are words, first of all? Words are the tools that humans use to express what they value. So in order to share what they value, humans use words. 10,000 years ago, imagine there was no language. Language was developed 10, 20,000, whatever it is. Like if I'm wrong, please correct me. So before language, how did we express our values? We express using like intensity. Like for example, one person will be like, "Whoo," was one sound. And like, "Whoo," like another sound, "Whoo," like different sounds that shows different intensity. That's how we could communicate. So we would smile, like small smile with the eyes open, right? That's a different intensity. But when language developed, we started using specific sounds. So think about it this way. These are sounds that make sense to you. And we have a common sharing of sound. The sound that I'm making makes sense to you because you know that sound. And we learned a way to manipulate our mouth and our tongue in such a way that we could make sound in a strategic way. And we learned that through Sanskrit or early languages like Sanskrit or Aramaya, or something else from different parts of the world. And then those structures created different tongue movements, sound movements to create something called language. Now it's like a normal thing. I'm talking and you're talking. I'm talking really fast. Sometimes I talk fast. Sometimes I talk slow. But you're listening to me. Are you paying attention? Sometimes if you are from different parts of the world, you might not understand when I talk fast. If I'm talking slow, you might understand. So I don't know. But the point is, there is a common vocabulary between you and I. There's a common vocabulary between you and I. I speak a word called God. It means the same. You might translate that into your God, right? Whatever that God representation is for you. When I say nature, if you're in Kenya, you understand nature in Kenya. And if you are in, Sahara Desert, the nature is there. That's where you lived all the time. That's what it is. If you are from Kuwait, all of a sudden you see some desert too, right? And if you are from Niagara Falls, you would see nature is Niagara Falls. So same word means different things to different people, but there is a common sound that represents what we value. Isn't that fascinating, right? How language developed and all those things. Why is that important for sales? I'll come to that in a second. That's what we're talking about. You can be patient, okay? Don't get mad at me. I'm kidding. But you get that? Language is a common sharing of value. That's the important thing. We express our value through languaging. We express our value through language. So the languages that we use multiple times, which is words that we use multiple times, phrases that we use multiple times, sentences that we use multiple times, are our subconscious expression of our values. One more time. The words, the phrases, the sentences that we express multiple times are the subconscious expressions of our values. This is what, like, you might be familiar with this term called Freudian slip. Somebody says something, like there's a fascinating classic example for a candidate. I mean, this is not for any politics, but this is fun. It's a person called Herschel Walker, who was trying to be the senator for Georgia recently. And if you're following US politics, this will make sense to you. And he said in a statement, this erection is about helping a lot of people. He used the word erection, right, instead of election, right, for whatever reason. So what, like, I'm not saying that, it's a really important value for Herschel Walker, although it could be, I don't know. But the point that I'm trying to make is the words that we speak consciously, subconsciously represents the value that we stand for. Okay. In Herschel's case, he just talked whatever he wanted to say. And, he's an interesting guy. It was fun to watch him. But the point I'm trying to make is words are representation of values. You got that one, right? So if you are using my words, for me, impact is a really important word, right? Value is a really important word itself, right? It's a really important word. And wealth is a really important word. Cash is a really important word, right? Humor is a really important word. Like joy is a really important. I have quite a few words, but if you start using my words, I feel immediately connected to you. Why? Because you are somebody who shares my value. That's how my subconscious is interpreting that. That is why we use the strategy, create a perceived value by using their repeated words. So in our sales conversation, again, don't steal the highest destiny from yourself. I'm going to emphasize this multiple times until I feel like, I don't need to. Don't scam yourself from not living your fullest by using this for short term. I'm going to use it for long term, and most of us are going to use for long term. And I implore you, I wish that you have the destiny to use it for something long term. Because when you're scamming people using these tools, you're scamming yourself. When you're cheating other people using this tool, you're cheating yourself. Let's not do that. I know it's only 1% of the people, but I want to make sure that you know what you're doing. And I want to welcome you into the higher light where you are able to influence people for the long term. So you could have amazing abundance, not a short-term gain. Okay. With that, create a perceived value by using these repeated words. And especially I'm sharing something really advanced like this. I want to keep on saying that, because if it's like different people might be watching different videos. So if you hear me and if you're annoyed by it, just ignore me. I'm a friendly guy. You already know that, right? Without even me telling you, right? So create perceived value by using the repeated words. And you were like, what is a big deal about this thing? The 5 words, oh my gosh, she said a lot about science and about languaging and how language developed and the words. And now you say you just use their 5 words. Don't I know that already? It's one of the most powerful things in the world, if you will allow it to work for you. Did you have a sunrise in front of your house, wherever you are, side, wherever in east, if you look outside, did you have a sunrise today? Yeah, was there something magical about it? Did you go to the sun, oh, sunrise is right there? Did you go there and like, look at that, mommy, sun has risen today too, and you got really excited? It didn't happen. Why? Because of law of familiarity. When you see sunrise every day, it becomes natural for you. You're like, sunrise. It's the biggest miracle that you saw today. But you don't pay attention to that. Why? You don't pay attention to that because you law of familiarize it. Sunrise, what the heck? I live next to a beach. I'm like, beach. And I want to go to beach. We want to go to beach as a family. Probably we go probably 10 times a year. We 10 miles from beach. Why? Because beach is always here. I lived in Orlando for 15 years. So Orlando is a city which is known for its theme parks. And probably more than 15 years now. I don't know, around 15 years. So the bottom line is, this is where you have Disney World, Universal Studio, Sea World, Aquatica, which is all most famous parks in the world, and Orlando has like the best theme parks in the world, literally in the world. And for the first 10 years, I visited only one park. And I traveled the world. I went to like, different parts of US, traveled different national parks and have amazing experience, different countries, different experiences. But I have never been to like all the parks in Orlando yet. I'm like, okay, take your time. It's okay. It's in Orlando. You could go to Wyoming and experience, Yellowstone National Park and see like a geyser coming, the water coming out. But I never went here because of law of familiarity. This happens to all of us. So just because I'm sharing something simple doesn't mean that it's not important. It just means that it's powerful. And if you underestimate that, you lost the point, right? It lost the point. I could talk about it like so much passionately. I could talk with sincerity. But the point is, if you are not willing to take it seriously, then it's not going to work for you, unfortunately. So take it as if it's a sunrise. Be open to the idea as if something new, right? Keep in mind that most people don't listen to what other person is saying. You are possibly not understanding exactly what I'm saying. You're understanding what you want to understand, but you open your eyes, but you open your mind to this sunrise, then all of a sudden you'll be able to see a different light every day for the rest of your life. So create a perceived value by using their repeated words. And people have done millions of dollars using the same strategy. I help people to do one sale around $800,000 because of this one strategy. One sale, 800,000, close to $1 million, one sale, because they use this. So when you use the prospect's words, you're increasing your conversion. Understand that. When you're using your prospect's words in your conversation, you are human who's willing to listen to them enough to use their value words, the words that they value. And when you do, you're increasing your conversion. Understand that. Okay, so we'll talk about the action for today in a second, but coming up next is secret number 9, how to summarize for more closing, how to create more closing in sales, in product services, influencing ideas, how to create even more sales by summarizing more effectively. I'll see you tomorrow, but before that, write down with your partner's words. Like, for example, find out your wife's common words, your husband's common words. What are the words that your wife use most of the time, your children use most of the time, your kids use most of the time? And there is like deeper conversation into vocabulary and how to use that to change your destiny in a future conversation. If you're curious about it, put that in the chat and I'll be happy to share that with you in the future. But for now, there's a fascinating world about vocabulary and how words influence us and how we could use words to take your destiny to the next level. It's a fascinating research, fascinating study. I'm going to write about it in my next book called Unbroken. But before that, if you're interested about it, just put that in the chat. I'll talk more about it. But right now, the specific action is write down your partners, your business partner, your life partner, your kids, probably at least one of them. If you're an overachiever, 3 of them. Find the 5 words that they use most of the time. And when they talk to them, use those words to build immediate connection with them. In a sales conversation, same thing. A prospect, whatever words that they are using most of the time, use those words to connect with them even more deeper so that you could have even more conversion. I'll talk to you tomorrow with secret number 9, how to summarize effectively for closing.